Not every finals moment is created equal. Some are forgotten, some are overhyped. But then there are the ones that stop time. The ones that silence 20,000 fans or make an entire city pop like champagne. They don't just shift the game, they flip history. These are the clutchest, coldest, and most soul-snatching NBA Finals moments of all time. No lucky bounces, no whistles, just everything on the line. And one player rewriting destiny in real time. Because when the world's watching and the pressure's boiling, legends aren't born, they're made. What if I told you a backpedal changed the course of basketball history? June 18th, 2013. Game 6, Spurs vs. Heat. LeBron's legacy hanging by a thread. Down 3-2. Spurs up by 3 with under 20 seconds left.
Back out to James, another three. It's good! James knocks it down. 2-point game with 20 seconds remaining.
Fans had literally started leaving the arena. The yellow rope was out. The trophy was being wheeled to the Spurs locker room. Talk about counting someone out. Talk about disrespect. SMH. And then LeBron launches a prayer 3. Misses. Bosch skies for the rebound. No timeout. Turns. Finds the deadliest sniper the game has ever seen. Ray Allen. Backpedaling full speed, no balance, tightrope in the corner. Splash.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Tie game. Miami would go on to win in overtime, then win Game 7. Ray Allen didn't just hit a shot, he saved a dynasty, saved LeBron's reputation, and pulled a banner back from the grave. Imagine ending your career with the cleanest game winner in finals history, and walking away like a ghost in the night.
For the second time in a little more than 5 years, Michael Jordan is choosing to walk away from the NBA.
Game 6, 1998, Bulls vs. Jazz. Score tied, 18 seconds left. Jordan had 44, no Pippen, no timeout, no help. Just one possession and one last chapter to write. First, he strips Karl Malone. Cool, collected, doesn't even blink. Bulls don't call timeout, Jordan walks it up himself. Then he crosses Byron Russell, plants his foot. A subtle push on the hip. Not a foul, but enough. Rise, fire, net, silence.
Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
87-86. Bulls win their 6th title. Jordan ends his Bulls career with the most cinematic shot in basketball history. What if I told you the greatest regular season team in NBA history got ended by a 24-year-old point guard with ice in his veins? June 19th, 2016, Game 7, Cavaliers vs. Warriors. Finals tied 3-3. 73-win Warriors, MVP Steph Curry, home crowd. And yet, somehow, everything felt like it was swinging Cleveland's way. With 1 minute 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the score was tied 89-89. Nobody had scored for over 3 minutes. Both teams were gassed. LeBron had just missed a free throw after the block. Golden State had life. And then came Kyrie. Isolation, top of the arc. Steph switches onto him, and right there, in that frozen moment, Kyrie slowly rocks him to sleep. Left, right, step back, fade, arc, cash. That wasn't just a bucket. That was a funeral procession for the Warriors' 73-9 magic. That was a decade of Cleveland heartbreak lifted in one flick of the wrist. And the wildest part, he did it with LeBron James on the floor and didn't blink. This wasn't just the shot, it was the exorcism. Cleveland had waited 52 years for a championship, and a kid from Jersey buried the pain from the Bay. Boston, 1987. A sea of green, a war of legends, and one grinning point guard about to stab a city in the heart. Game 4, Lakers vs. Celtics. A rivalry drenched in blood, banners, and hatred. Larry Bird was the Celtic god. But this series, it was Magic's turn to walk into the Devil's Den and take everything. It's 105-104. Celtics up. The Garden is shaking. Larry Bird had just nailed a cold-blooded 3 to give Boston the lead. But the Lakers didn't blink. With 7 seconds left, Pat Riley doesn't call timeout. They trust Magic, a 6'9" point guard, to deliver in the mecca of Celtics basketball. Kareem flashes. Worthy sets the screen. And Magic Johnson, the kid who made the game look joyful, drove into a forest of limbs and floated up the softest, calmest, most disrespectful shot of his life. A baby hook over Kevin McHale, over Robert Parrish. Buckets. Lakers up 1. It wasn't just a shot, it was where he did it. In the middle of the Boston Garden, in a game they had to win. That one flick of the wrist didn't just silence the building, it flipped the entire series. Because Magic didn't just beat Boston, he broke them, and did it with a damn smile on his face. The man who never missed when it mattered. They say pressure makes diamonds. Well, in Robert Horry's case, it made rings. He wasn't the franchise player. He wasn't the highest paid. Hell, he barely touched the ball most nights. But when the game and the season was on the line, there was nobody more dangerous than Big Shot Bob. Game 5, 2005 NBA Finals. Spurs vs. Pistons. Series tied 2-2. Double overtime. The Palace of Auburn Hills is shaking. Tim Duncan, ice cold. Manu and Tony, gassed. And then, like some basketball Grim Reaper, Horry checked in. He'd already hit 4 threes in the second half, but with 5.9 seconds left in the second OT, the play wasn't drawn for him. Inbound to Ginobili, Pistons collapse. Manu gets trapped, jumps in the air, and kicks it back to Horry, standing alone, top of the arc. Splash. Game over. Series shifted, and Horry, he walked off like it was nothing. But it wasn't luck, it was legacy. That was his 5th championship clinching shot across 3 different teams, 7 rings, 1 nickname, and enough cold-blooded clutch moments to fill a vault. Big Shot Bob didn't need plays run for him because the game always found him when it mattered most. What if I told you one man brought a franchise back from the dead? Not a team, not a system. One dude. In his 3rd year, wearing number 3, and turning the NBA Finals into a hostage situation. June 2006, Miami Heat vs. Dallas Mavericks, down 0-2. Series looked over. Dallas had Dirk, depth, discipline. Miami had experience with Shaq, but nothing was working. Then came Game 3, 91-89, 17 seconds left. Miami's season on life support. Ball goes to Dwyane Wade. No play call, no screen, just go. He drives into a crowd of Mavs, hits a leaning banker off the glass with 3 defenders draped over him. Foul. And that was the moment you saw it happen. Wade didn't just win that game, he took the series. Over the next 4 games, he averaged 39 points a night, got to the line 21 times per game, and had Jason Terry and Devin Harris praying for mercy. The refs couldn't believe it. Dallas couldn't stop it, and the league, they watched a new face of the NBA get born in real time. Game 6, closeout. Wade drops 36, seals it at the line, Finals MVP. He didn't just win a ring, he ripped it from Dallas's hands and etched his name next to legends. And the coldest part, he was 24 years old. He doesn't talk much, doesn't smile much. But in 2019, Kawhi Leonard said everything he needed to with a single bounce. Let's rewind. Toronto, Game 7, Eastern Semis. Series tied 3-3 with Philly, tied 90-90, 4.2 seconds left. Everyone knew who was getting the ball, but nobody knew what was about to happen. Kawhi Leonard catches it. Sprint dribble to the right corner. Joel Embiid closes out like a missile. Kawhi elevates, falling to his right, fading into the baseline. He lets it fly. Then the world holds its breath. Bounce, 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 drop. Game, series.
2-point game. Here comes Butler driving. Layup is good. He ties the game. It's off to Leonard. Defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
And instantly, NBA history changed. That one shot, the first Game 7 buzzer beater in NBA history, didn't just eliminate Philly and rewrote the narrative for an entire country. Toronto surged through the East, and in the finals, Kawhi faced the Wounded Warriors dynasty. No KD, no mercy. Game 6, Oracle Arena, closeout game. Kawhi drops 22, 6, and 3, takes Finals MVP, and ends the Warriors' reign of terror. And then he left. No farewell tour, no post-championship podcast, just dipped with a finals MVP in one hand and an entire nation whispering his name. No one ever did more for a city in less time. He was a hired gun, and he hit every target. That wasn't a playoff run, that was an assassination. How sick would you have to be to need two men to hold you up, to be drenched in sweat, shaking, unable to eat, and still drop 38 in the NBA Finals? Because on June 11th, 1997, Michael Jordan became something more than human. He became legend. Game 5, NBA Finals, Chicago Bulls vs. Utah Jazz, series tied 2-2. Back in Salt Lake City, loud, vicious, altitude like a mountain. And then, Michael Jordan wakes up vomiting at 2:30 a.m. Food poisoning, not the flu. At least that's the real story, one of the Bulls' trainer, Tim Grover, revealed years later. It wasn't a virus, it was a bad pizza delivered by 5 guys in Utah at 10 p.m. the night before. Yeah, suspicious. MJ looked like a ghost, could barely walk, barely breathe. Everyone, including Phil Jackson, thought he wouldn't play. But Jordan? He suited up anyway, and what followed didn't feel real. 38 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a game-winning 3 with less than a minute left. Every shot came with a wince. Every possession, he collapsed into teammates' arms during timeouts. And when it was finally over, clock struck 0. He didn't celebrate. He collapsed into Scottie Pippen's chest, like a man who had given the game everything. That wasn't just guts. That was a masterclass in willpower. Because sometimes greatness isn't about height, speed, or jumpers. Sometimes it's about showing up when you shouldn't even be standing. Every finals moment is a stage. Some players freeze under the lights. But the ones we just showed you, they became immortal. Ray, Kyrie, Magic, Horry, Wade, Kawhi, Jordan. They didn't just make shots, they wrote basketball scripture. Because when it matters most, when the game is down to one possession and the whole season's on the line, only a select few have ever reached into the fire and pulled out history.